Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be bringing you my solo next guide. Before we start, here are a few quick things worth mentioning. This method only works if you make an instance and leave and rejoin after every kill, as Nex will pray against magic on each rejoin of the instance. You do not have to pay more than once an hour, just click the rejoin button. If you want to quickly find your way around the guide, there will be links to each section in the description. Don't forget to give me some feedback and subscribe. To start off, I'll show you guys the optimal equipment to use while soloing Nex. First, I'm going to show you Ancient Ceremonial, which is more or less a must, as it allows you to skip the kill count and go straight into the next bank. If you're wondering about the Dark Bow, I occasionally use it to stall Adrenaline in the kill count room to start the kill with the Death Swiftness. In my inventory, I have a Frozen Key and an Anti-Poison Flask, which I drink at the bank. You will want Full Void, but Bandos Boots. The reason you use Bandos Boots is so Nex doesn't go into melee distance on you during the first two phases. Bandos Boots are the best boots to wear while soloing Nex, excluding the tier 90 Flare Frost ranged DPS boots, but I personally don't use them because of the cost. Bandos Boots are actually better to use than higher level boots such as Torva because they are the lowest tier boots that still have the defense required to keep Nex out of melee distance, and they have less of a negative effect on your ranged attack accuracy compared to higher level melee boots. If you don't have a Max or Completionist cape, you will want to take a hybrid cape such as a Skill Cape. Make sure you do not take a ranged killing cape, as that will force Nex into melee distance on you during the Shadow Phase. The Noxious Longbow is preferred compared to Ascension crossbows because of the increased distance you can attack from, allowing you to kill minions without them being able to attack you. I like to take Scrimshaws of Ranging for the accuracy bonus, but a Scrimshaw of Cruelty will get the job done as well. Supreme Sharpshooter is by far the best sword to use while soloing Nex, as she has ridiculous defense. For my jewelry, I take a Reaper necklace for the accuracy bonus, and an Asylum Surgeon's ring for its chance at saving my Adrenaline while using a Threshold. The inventory is debatable, and it really depends on your preference and skill at Nex, but this is what I use for consistent Nihil solos. The potions I recommend are Supreme Overloads, as they raise your stats to 118 versus 116, Super Prayer Renewals, which combine a Prayer Renewal and a Prayer Potion, and a Replenishment Potion, which combines an Adrenaline Potion and Super Prayer Renewal. I also take Magic Notepaper to bank my brew drops and a Serenic Armor Switch for the Zaros Phase. I highly recommend a Ring of Vigor for saving 10% Adrenaline when using an ultimate ability, an Enhanced Excalibur, a Port of Life, and a Dark Bow for a shield switch, as it is more convenient than an actual shield. If you're just starting out at Nex, I would highly recommend a Beast of Burden familiar such as a War Tortoise or Pack Yak filled with Rocktails. Before you start your trip, always get your Glacier boost if you have done Ritual of the Majoret. All you have to do is enter the Glacier Cave. Now that you know everything that's needed in preparation of the fight, let's jump into the actual fight itself, starting with the first of the 5 phases, being the Smoke Phase. Smoke Phase is pretty simple. As you jump down into the room, drink your Adrenaline Potion and turn your Quick Prayers on. Once Fumus spawns, tag him so you are in combat and use the following sequence of abilities to gain Adrenaline. Escape, Resonance, Preparation, Freedom, and then Anticipation. At this point you should now be able to attack Nex. Tag Nex and use Fragmentation Shot and run back a bit so she moves and takes additional damage from the frag shot. The rest of the phase is fairly straightforward, just DPS her down to 160k HP and then kill Fumus to go to Shadow Phase. Be aware that Nex can drag you in on this phase, disabling your protection prayers and possibly luring you into the middle before she charges. Try to rotate Anticipation and Freedom to avoid getting dragged. However, if you do get dragged, use Freedom and Eat to regain your HP, and run out of melee distance as quick as possible, and also don't forget to turn your prayer back on. Shadow is also a fairly easy phase. The only thing you need to worry about are the Shadow Traps. To start the phase, tag Nex after you have killed Fumus, and switch from Deflect Magic to Soul Split. Watch out though, as she always starts Shadow Phase with a Shadow Trap. To avoid it, step to a different square in the room. I always start with the Snapshot and then follow up with the Rapid Fire while using Soul Split. After that, just DPS Nex down to 120k and prepare for Blood Phase. Remember that on this phase her attack is ranged based, so use Deflect Range rather than Magic. Blood Phase is probably the most difficult phase of the fight. Your goal is to get Nex down to 80k life points before the Siphon. I start Blood Phase by stating melee distance to Nyx after killing Umbra and tagging Nyx and using Death Swiftness at the same time. I then use Freedom, Anticipation, Provoke, and then Snipe while Nyx is using the opening Siphon. As I snipe, I sip my Adrenaline Potion, use Rapid Fire, followed by Snapshot and then a Dazing Shot. I then use the Escape ability to move out of the Sacrifice's range, run back into my Death Swiftness, and then use Snipe followed by a Shadow Tendril. This is the way I do my Blood Phases, and I can usually get them done before the first Siphon. However, sometimes luck just isn't on your side and you need to improvise. This is an example of a kill where I did everything right but still didn't do enough damage to finish the phase. Just stay calm, stick to your preferred and optimal DPS rotation, and you will get through the phase. Ice Phase is another difficult one. You always want to be starting with a Contain rather than an Ice Prison. The way you make sure you always start with the Contain is by waiting until after Nyx sacrifices you to start Ice Phase. You can tell you have been sacrificed by your character turning red. If you tag Nyx into Ice Phase after you turn red but before the Siphon, you will start with the Contain. Keep your distance from Nyx when she contains, as the ice spikes do damage to you, and if you are too close to Nyx you will be stunned and have your Protect prayers deactivated. The other thing to worry about in Ice Phase is the Ice Prison. Nyx will put you into a prison of ice that deactivates your prayers and stuns you and hits you from around anywhere between 6 to 8k damage. You want to anticipate before the prison and eat up to over full HP to survive the attack. I recommend also switching your shield on and using the Resonance ability as the prison breaks, as you can get a heal from Nyx quite frequently. When you aren't dealing with the prison, try to DPS Nyx as quickly as you can since this is such a brutal phase. Zaros is actually a pretty easy phase all things considered. Nyx really doesn't do anything special here, except becoming a lot more accurate and powerful, and gaining a defensive buff which reduces the damage of your abilities. She also uses Soul Split on this phase and heals a lot of life points back with it. However, it really is a pretty simple phase as all you have to do is DPS and survive. You should start off Zaros Phase by putting on your Serenic switch, using Death Swiftness, taking a sip of your Adrenaline Potion, and then using Rapid Fire as your first threshold. However, for most of my kills, my Adrenaline Potion is anywhere from 12 to 24 seconds off being able to be drank again from the Blood Phase. In that case, just continue to build Adrenaline using your best basic abilities and get up to your thresholds as quick as you can. The thing with Zaros is that it isn't a huge deal whether you get your thresholds off in Death Swiftness in comparison to other phases due to the damage reduction. Anyway, just continue to attack Nyx and you should make progress. Don't forget to use your bleeds like Fragmentation Shot and Corruption Shot if you have it, as much as possible. Also remember to keep your life points above 2,500 to be safe. After Nyx dies, she will activate Wrath, which hurts you if you are stood inside of it after 3 seconds. Simply just move a few squares away. Thank you for watching. I hope this guide helps those who currently struggle to solo Nyx. I would also really appreciate some feedback in the comments section, guys. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a like and subscribe.